Hi, I'm Karen. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do a VR to Jack Greenwood Tarot for his tag Tarot to Positivity. I first saw this tag on Nyx's channel at Key Features, and then I went right away to see Jack's original video. After that, I saw a couple of other videos. One was a collaboration between Erin, the Witch of Saturn, and Marlena Teresa. And then the other one I just saw most recently was by Feeding My Soul 1212. And I have enjoyed every one of the videos I've watched with this tag. So I want to do one of my own. Let's get started. The first question is, how do you deal with negative thoughts or feelings? Then it says, answer off the top of your head, then pull a card or multiple cards to see what message the cards give. What I do when I have negative feelings is write. I have a couple of different journals that I use. I have my everyday journal that I write in regardless of what I'm feeling, and also share just those day-to-day negative thoughts and feelings. And then if it's big feelings, deep feelings, I have a special journal for that. She is here. I actually love all of this wear and tear on her because I feel like we've been through some really rough times together, and I feel like that should show. Luckily, I haven't had to use her a whole lot lately, but she's here for me when I need her with those big feelings. After I write, I pretty much always spend some time outside. If I need to still clear the air a little bit, I'll go for a walk, or I'll just go out into the backyard, watch the birds for a while, let the dogs run around, and that always brings me out of any extra lingering negative thoughts or feelings. I'm pretty happy to say that I have better coping skills than I had when I was younger. Those things seem to always work for me. Now let's see, what deck do I want to pull from for this one? I think I want to go with Tarot of Curious Creatures. This is a deck that is by Chris Ann, and it has some pretty deep meanings for such a silly looking deck, but that's one of the things I love about it. It has that Chris Ann writing in the guidebook, but the images are kind of quirky and fun, and feel like they always do me good when I need a little energy cleansing. There's the Knight of Pentacles, and it looks like it's a woodchuck maybe with a horse. The Three of Wands with a deer. I think that's perfect. I love to watch deer run out in the wild. Two of Cups with dolphins. I think that's fun and perfect. Okay, this one, I was supposed to be doing a pull, not a not a walkthrough. Sorry, let me try that again. Let's just pull a card. Okay, King of Pentacles, and it's a moose. I like that. King of Pentacles is a good card for me. I follow the Lisa Pepez recommendation in her book of assigning fictional characters to the court cards so that you can kind of find something to relate to with the courts. And since I've done that, the courts are some of the easier cards for me to read with. All of mine are Star Trek characters. I was able to come up with someone for every one of the court cards. And for the King of Pentacles, it is Captain Pike from Strange New Worlds. Picard is my favorite captain, but he's the King of Swords. And Captain Pike is my second favorite, so he's King of Pentacles. Very down to earth, very realistic. He's the leader. He's the captain of the ship, but he's very grounded. So he's my King of Pentacles. And that's good. I think that's good for negative feelings, because a lot of times my negative feelings involve getting in my own head too much. As my husband always says, taking off. He's always telling me, put down your landing gear when I get like that. So I think the King of Grounding, the King of Pentacles, is a good one for this. That was a great pull. This deck has never let me down. It's a great reader, so I'm not surprised that it came through for this one. The next question is, what are you grateful for? And then the prompt is answer the question, then pull a card or two to ask what message do the cards have to say about gratitude. I am grateful for all of the usual things. I'm grateful for my family, my husband, my sons. I'm grateful for my dogs. I'm grateful for my home in this beautiful place where I get to live. We're not going to be here forever. California is becoming unmanageable for many reasons as we get older. So we're probably going to end up moving back east, which will be good to be closer to my sons, but I'll miss this place. I love California. I wish we could stay here forever. On top of those regular things to be grateful for, I'm grateful for this spiritual journey that I'm on. I've talked about that a little bit on my channel. Probably every video I'll mention it at least briefly, but the last few years have been amazing, and I'm at a place that I never thought I would be spiritually, and I'm thankful for that. So that's my gratitude. Let's see which deck. I think I'm going to go with an oracle deck for this one. This is the Arcana Folia. I've talked about this deck a few times on my channel, but this deck feels like where I am with my gratitude these days. It's very comforting. It's very warm. It has a feeling of home. Let's see what this deck has to say about gratitude. I'm going to pull a couple from this one, 2 to 3. We'll see. Okay. I have temptation, alluring thoughts and actions with the pomegranate. Then I have treasure, protect your energy and space. And then reflection. Reflection reveals who you are. I think these are good for gratitude. Temptation, sometimes we're tempted to try to be somewhere we're not, to try to do something that's really not for us. But it pays to stop and just be grateful for what you do have instead. You know, you have your own treasure. Protect it. Protect that energy and your precious space. And reflection. Reflect on what you're grateful for. Reflection reveals who you are. I love that. Very happy with those cards for this. And again, this is a deck that seems to always have a relevant answer for me, so not surprised by that. That's the Arcana Folia. And this one is by, I always have to look for her name, Nora Paskaleva. Question 3. Spread some love or joy. Pull a card or multiple cards from any deck, and whatever comes up, put a positive spin on it and send out to everyone. I'm going to go with Unicorn's Journey Tarot for this one. This is by Lisa Pepez, and I'm choosing this deck because it is a very positive, uplifting deck to begin with. It does have difficult cards. It is a full tarot deck, and it does have some messages you may need to hear, but it's the story of Mystic the unicorn and how he discovers that he is a unicorn and the friends he makes along the way. It's about self-discovery, about learning to love who you are and finding your true self. And those things in and of themselves are positive, so I feel like whatever card I pull, I'll be able to find a positive message in it. Let's see what we get. Oh, the sun. Well, thank you, Unicorn's Journey Tarot. You made this one easy for me. There's no real stretch on that, is there? The sun, yeah. I don't think I need to say much about this other than that. I think I needed to spread some real heavy-duty positivity today. So whoever's watching this, I hope that you take this and all the energy that I'm sending out with it of positivity, of joy and light and laughter. And if you're having a rough day, I hope and pray that it gets better. Okay. That was a fun one. The next one is, what makes you happy? Well, my happiness list probably looks a whole lot like my gratitude list. Tarot makes me happy. Watching the birds in the yard make me happy. Laughing with my husband or an old friend, that makes me happy. Talking with my sons, that makes me happy. My meditation practice makes me happy. My crystals make me happy. This is my blue kyanite. This is a newer acquisition, and my crystals definitely make me happy. My dogs, the birds, nature. Yeah, I have a lot to be happy about. I didn't read the prompt. List some things that bring you joy and then pull a card or more to see what the cards say about bringing more happiness into your life. Okay, I'm going to go back with Tarot of Curious Creatures again, because this quirky little deck always has something fun to say and still gives you a really direct message. The only thing I don't like is on this stiff Hay House cardstock that's hard to shuffle, and I have very small hands, so there's that. But yeah, I can live with it. I don't even try to bridge it. But it's such a fun, sweet deck. I just love all of the animals. Animals make me happy. Animals bring me joy. So let's see what it says. Oh, the Queen of Pentacles. Well, we've already had the King of Pentacles today. And this time we have the Queen of Pentacles. I love the Queen of Pentacles. It looks like that maybe she's an ox on here, but she is just loving but grounded and supportive, and she has luxury and abundance and prosperity all around her, but she has those in her emotional aspects also. She's generous and giving. My Queen of Pentacles actually is not a female in my Star Trek categories. I believe that you can mix up your court characters, female and male, and I chose for this one LeVar Burton's character in Next Generation, Geordi LaForge. He's one of my very favorite Star Trek characters ever, and he seems very Queen of Pentacles energy. As far as what this deck has to say and the Queen of Pentacles has to say about bringing more happiness into my life, I think that card makes sense for me right now where I am. I am very happy, but I am worried about resources. I suffered an injury about 18 months ago and have not been able to work since then. and things are coming to a point where decisions have to be made, and I am concerned about what the future holds as far as finances and those kinds of things. So the Queen of Pentacles showing up for me and maybe letting me know that I can let go of some of that worry and just focus on all of the many, many things I do have to be happy about, and all of the abundance and prosperity that I do have in my life. The next prompt is, how do you treat yourself? As in, what's some stuff you do to give yourself a treat? I'm going to go back to Arcanifolia for this one. I feel like this one has some good advice in those areas. Answer the question and then pull a card from any deck to see what it says. Okay. What do I do to treat myself? I have a pretty good self-care routine going. I make sure that I rest. I spend time out in nature. That's a real treat for me. I like to take baths. I have a skincare routine that feels like a treat every time I do it. It is a regular routine, but I do take my time and spend my time on it, and it's important to me. I do my meditations. Those bring me joy and happiness, and I feel like I'm really treating myself by taking that time and just focusing on my inner landscape. So those are all things I do to treat myself. Let's see what the cards have to say. I'm just going to pull one for this one. Love, true feelings. Oh, and that makes me very happy, because I was talking about spending time out in my yard and how I really feel like it's a treat to go out there and watch the birds. And we have doves. We have doves in our yard that come to the feeders, and they make me so happy. So, and then of course, I feel like my home is full of love. It's full of love between my husband and myself. It's full of love when I speak with my children, and with 5 dogs, there's a lot of love to go around right there. And all of the love in our home and around our home. That card makes me happy. Like that I pulled that one. Okay, prompts 6 and 7 kind of go together for me. Question 6 is, what's the next deck that you plan to bring into your collection? And that one is Bone Stone and Earth Flesh Tarot by Anna Torrian. And actually, I just ordered that deck, so I put the plan into action. It's not here yet, and I don't have anything planned after that. I try to take my time and not bring too much in until I get a deck in my hands and sit with it and spend some time with it. I don't plan the next deck. So I'm going to use that one as my answer to this question, because it's not here yet, so it's still in the planning phases, technically. The reason it's tied in with question 7 is I put off getting this deck, Bone Stone and Earth Flesh, because I was being a little bit pouty about things. The next question is, what's your unicorn deck? And mine is Tarot of Echoes by Anna Torrian. That has been my unicorn deck since January of 2025. I didn't find out about that deck until after it was out of print as an indie deck. I knew I wanted the deck, so when Lisa Pepez was doing her year ahead readings and that deck was on the list, I asked for a year ahead reading from Tarot of Echoes. It was a beautiful, magical reading, and that made me want the deck even more. At that time, the word was that US Games had picked up the deck for mass market and that it would be coming out later in 2025 or early 2026. And here we are, mid 2026, and the deck is still not out mass market. So when Bonestone and Earthflesh came out on mass market, I was a little bit peeved because I wanted Tarot of Echoes. So I really didn't give Bonestone much of a chance. I didn't really look a lot at it. I would watch some of the walkthroughs, and I just had this attitude, well, it's not Tarot of Echoes, which was a really bad attitude to have because I love Anatorian's art. I have Tarot of the Abyss, which is my only black and white deck, and I love the artwork in it, and it's a deck that I do love having. But one thing I really love, in addition to just her regular art, is her use of colors. So Bonestone has that amazing color that she uses, and it's a beautiful deck, and I had no reason to not want it as much as I love her art. So a few weeks ago, I was looking around at just different videos and came across one of that, and I thought, you know what, Karen? You need to stop and watch another walkthrough with an open mind, and I did that, and I said, I want this deck. So it's on its way. I ordered it a couple of days ago. It'll be here probably later this week. So that's my answer to question 6 and to question 7. My next deck that I'm getting into my collection is Bonestone and Earthflesh, and my unicorn deck is Tarot of Echoes. The next question is, show some cards from a deck that brings you joy, that is a go-to, easy read deck, something that lifts your spirits. I knew right away which one I wanted for this as soon as I saw other creators doing this tag, and that is Sassy Dragons Tarot by Peggy Papez and illustrated by Andrew Rogers and Christopher Penzel, supervised by Lisa Papez. This is the Not Safe for Work. And if you are not familiar with Peggy from her channel, from Lisa, well, she has her own sewing channel, and then she also appears regularly on Lisa's tarot channel. Peggy has a very distinctive, unique, comfortable in her own skin style. She calls it as she sees it. She pulls no punches, and this deck absolutely has her energy. It makes me smile, it makes me laugh. There are prompts on each of the cards, and I love that because as a fairly new reader, sometimes that comes in handy for just a quick pull and move on with your day. And I love the size of the deck. Peggy has small hands, so they made this smaller than a regular tarot. Let's see, here is Unicorn's Journey by Lisa Papez, and here's Peggy's deck next to it. Lisa's is regular tarot size. So you can see that it is quite a bit smaller, and my small hands love that. So let's see. So show some cards from this deck. I'd love to. Here's the Knight of Pentacles. F the Hare, be the tortoise. Consistency and steady progress are more important than speed. Yes, that sounds like Peggy. All of these cards are like that. The Nine of Pentacles. Time to indulge. You effing earned it. Enjoy the comforts you've earned through your hard work. Did I say this is not safe for work? If I didn't say that, I should have. Here's the Chariot. Badass coming through. Get the F out of the way. You're on the right track. Don't stop now. I can hear Peggy's voice in this deck, and it just always makes me laugh and smile because she's just a joy to watch, and to hear her interact with Lisa is just so fun. Six of Cups. Stop reminiscing and start effing living. Cherish the past, but stay connected to the present. This is such a fun deck. I love the art too. For the cups, they have juice boxes, and all of the characters look like little stuffed animals to me. All of the scenes are just warm and comfy and sweet. And it just brings me joy all the time, regardless of the message, regardless of what the reading is. It's just always a fun pick me up. This is a good one. The Star. Hey, Twinkle Tits, get off your ass and get back to it. The path ahead is clear and you have the support you need. And that was Sassy Dragons by Peggy Pepez. Okay, the next prompt is show some cards from a deck that makes you feel warm and comfy, a deck that you would use for deeper readings, but it makes you happy every time you see it. I'm going to go with Good Fortune Tarot for this one. This is by Barbara Moore, who I absolutely love. She is amazing, and I've learned so much about tarot from reading different things that she writes. And it's illustrated by Jessica Rue, so that also makes it extra fun. And the artwork in here is just comforting. It's an RWS clone, but it has a softer, clearer, more inviting look to it. I just really love this deck. It is one that I can get some pretty deep readings from. I've worked with this deck for quite a while. This is one of the decks I've had in my collection, I think longer than anything else I've talked about today. I'm looking around, and yes, of the decks I've shown today, this is the one I've had the longest. And so I've had quite a few significant readings with it. But just looking at it makes me feel warm and comfy, and it just makes me happy every time I see it. And then the last prompt is pull a card or multiple cards from that last deck to give a parting message to everyone. Okay, this one is on Llewellyn cardstock, which I also really appreciate because I can shuffle it. And that makes me happy. Barbara Moore wrote the guidebook to this, obviously, and she's so knowledgeable, but I just love the way she presents things. It makes sense, and it just stays with me. So I highly recommend this deck if you've not seen it. I don't feel like it gets a lot of love on TarotTube, and I think it should. I think it deserves it. Let's see what it has to say today. Let's do a 3-card. 7 of Wands. Okay. We're defending. Oh, the Empress. Nurturing. And the King of Pentacles again. There he is. So let's see what we can read here. With the 7 of Wands, we need to stand our ground, protect our boundaries, defend what's ours, and yet we also need to remember that our life is full of richness, and we need to carry that nurturing energy of the Empress into any situations we're in. Even as we're defending our ground and protecting our boundaries, we can still be kind and loving and supportive. And then with the King of Pentacles, there's that standing within our own ground, protecting what we have and who we are, but sharing and being generous at the same time. I think that people have a tendency to go one way or the other too much. We become too defensive, too protective, or we become people pleasers or give away too much. And these cards are telling us, yes, protect what's yours, stand your ground, but don't forget to be appreciative and thankful for what you have, for the lushness and amazing life that you have and the resources that you have. Okay, that's what I'm getting from that one. And that was our last prompt. So I hope you enjoyed this video and this tag. And if you haven't seen the others, please go and watch Jack's original video. I'll have that link below, and then maybe follow the tag to watch some of these others. That's what I'm going to do after this. I'm sure there are some that I've missed, and I would like to see some more of these. Bye for now.